this big political week, we wanted to bring in a political insider with deep perspective and really a front row seat to California politics. I'm sure a familiar face for everyone, former Sacramento Mayor and State Senate President Pro Tem Darrell Steinberg is with us tonight. Thank you so much for taking some time.
It's great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. So you do have a unique perspective with your experience in both state and local politics. Let's start with last night's primary results. Of course, the big race of the night, the governor's race. So let's focus on Steyer and Becerra, because that's where this has really been a lot to talk about. What do you think about a battle really within the Democratic Party, this insurgence that we're seeing to get out with the old, in with the new? We're going to get into that. But also when we're talking about Steyer and Becerra, we have two Democrats that are fighting here.
Well, we have the open primary, the top two. And so it is possible that the two will still go on to November, although Steve Hilton seems to be pulling well. But every election is about whether or not the people want fundamental change or whether, to some degree or another, they want to stay the course.
Right.
And Javier Becerra, I think, represents more of the stay the course.
Right.
Tom Steyer said, no, we need to shake this up. We need to take on the corporations. We need to fix state government.
It's getting ugly. And we're talking in the Democratic Party, when it gets so ugly like that, that's hard to see, right?
It's true, and it is hard to see. Some of it is just politics, but I will say, I think it has gotten meaner and nastier.
Yes.
And I think there's a real consequence to that. I think more young people are being turned off. When you see the voting percentages here so low, it makes you step back and say that everybody who runs for office has a responsibility to try to present a more positive message. But look, within the Democratic Party, especially among young people, the question is the system so broken that it needs to be changed from the outside, or can you make real change from the inside?
Right.
And that is, I think, a healthy debate in a way. And the elections, I think, sort of frame that difference. And I know we were going to talk about the congressional race in Sacramento.
It is a healthy debate, but then until it gets ugly, then people start to wonder, can the Democratic Party really pull it together? So with that whole out with the old, in with the new, let's talk about congressional battlegrounds now. District 7 in Sacramento, like you were talking about, two very familiar faces that you are very familiar with. Of course, longtime Doris Matsui, but then you also have Mai Vang. You worked with her on the local level. So again, though, we have somebody coming in saying, hey, we need the next generation in. We need change. We need to move in a different direction. And that's what Mai Vang has really focused on with this. It got ugly in those political ads.
It did, and that disappointed me a little bit. Look, I think in many respects it's a healthy debate. I will say, because I think its transparency is important, I supported Doris Matsui, even though I have great regard for Mai Vang, who was my colleague on the city council. And it is that same frame. Do the voters want fundamental change? And some of it's generational, by the way. There's no question that age plays a difference here. But, you know, one could argue that with age comes experience and wisdom.
Right.
Right? And so I wish that it had been a little bit more on the issues. I sometimes worry that the progressive left in my party, and believe me, I was a progressive for my time. I'm not sure that I would be seen so today. But I don't believe in all or nothing politics.
Okay, I appreciate your honesty on that.
I do. I don't like litmus tests.
Right.
I think you look at somebody's entire record, and then you ask whether or not they're worthy. I think the idea of young people challenging the system is great.
It's something that we need a challenge in there, for sure.
And they should.
Let me talk about Prop 50 real quick before I let you go, because I do want to get to this one. That's something Democrats had really hoped would work for them. We're still seeing really tight numbers in this. Was it a fail for Democrats?
No. Proposition 50 was the right thing to do, because when you have a demagogue and a tyrant in the White House, and I hate to say it that way, but that's just what it is. He is using every method at his disposal, including denying elections, in order to keep power. So Gavin Newsom did the right thing, and the results remain to be seen, right? Whether or not we pick up the so-called Kiley seat with Richard Pan, or whether we don't. But I still think it was the right thing to do. You always have to try to fight fire with fire.
I can hear what you're saying, but some people would just like to see the fighting stop altogether. Let me get really quickly to the LA mayor's race, because once again, we are seeing another wild one play
Yes.
out. We have a longtime Democrat, Karen Bass, up against one of her own in the council, once again showing that there's that insurgency within the Democratic Party. Doesn't look good for the Democratic Party.
Well, I will say this. Being a big city mayor in modern America is the toughest job, political job in America. I was both Senate pro tem during the Great Recession and mayor of Sacramento. And I want to tell you, the pro tem was tough. Being mayor was even tougher because you have all the accountability. You don't necessarily have all the authority. And there are a lot of events outside your control. And so I think Karen Bass did well. And I think maybe it was a little bit different than what people expected, that maybe people are okay with not shaking it up too much, recognizing that things aren't perfect,
Right.
but measuring progress in a way that says, okay, as long as we're moving forward on homelessness, she achieved a reduction just like we did in Sacramento.
We know she touted
then
that, right?
then that is progress enough. We will see. She's going to have a tough challenge in November.
Of course.
But I think she did better than people expected.
Former Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg, thank you so much. We're not done with you yet. We're going to talk about the big announcement with MLB expansion possibly here, but I'll talk to you about that after the show. We're going to have more on that tonight. Thank you so much.
Really
Appreciate
wonderful
you being
to see
here.
you. Always good to be
Thank you.
back.
Love to see it. All right, that's all for right now. We'll be right back, though, after this.